The research, Education Spike research by education think tank Africa Education Watch, sought to gather evidence to better understand the situation at the basic education level, their complications, and establish the extent of vulnerabilities impacting learning outcomes in deprived schools. The launch of the research established a link between the level of deprivation and learning outcomes by analyzing the BEC results from 2019, where only 17.19% and 1.97% scored aggregate 6 to 30 in Nkwanta South and Zabzugu respectively, compared to the national average of 66.5% in that year. It attributed a lack of infrastructure, qualified teachers, institutional support, and textbook unavailability as hindrances to students at the basic level in deprived communities to excel in their academics. As a result, Executive Director of Africa Education Watch, Kofi Asare, among other recommendations, has urged the government to amend and allocate 50% of the country's education sector expenditure to deprived public schools in the country. He added that the adequate funding will improve the quality of public basic education in deprived communities.
How many schools and lecturers we are able to eliminate? How many textbooks we are able to provide for deprived schools? How many students from deprived districts are improving their mathematics and English proficiency levels? And how many students from districts like Zabzugu are passing BEC and WASSCE? This is how we must measure our achievement, not by how much money government spends in the education sector, and not by the WASSCE pass rate, which is concentrated in only about 20 or 30 senior high schools. It is most important that we recognize that we must increase basic education share of the education sector expenditure to at least 50% while ensuring spending efficiency. The most important key performance indicator must be to ensure that every deliverable must be measured in terms of how it benefits deprived communities.
Reacting to the proposal by Africa Education Watch, member of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Education, Joseph Kwame Kuma, described the proposal from the education think tank as laudable and promised the committee will sit and deliberate on it. He, however, called for a review of the 2022 budget since there was no mention and allocation of funds to the provision of infrastructure in basic public schools.
If we check this 2022 budget, we are not talking of the infrastructure development. We are talking of curriculum and training of teachers in their licensure exams and aptitude tests and whatever it is. I feel that as a country, we need to really look at the budget. As this workshop is timely, when I get back, I'm going to give the feedback to the Education Committee that the position of EduWatch and other coalition of education, PTAs and all the collaborators in this dialogue is that we should really look at the budget and let more funding get to the basic education side instead of senior high and tertiary.